These small acts of honoring your body are deeply spiritual. They're ways of saying, I value the home my soul lives in. Welcome to Intuition Unlocked, the podcast empowering empathic women who feel misunderstood, overwhelmed, or disconnected from their intuition, begin to trust their sensitivities, find inner clarity, and show up with embodied, unstoppable confidence in their daily lives. I am your host, Olivia Ashley, an empath and intuitive, and I am so happy you're here. Hello, beautiful, and welcome to Intuition Unlocked. I am truly so grateful for your time and energy and that you've pressed play to be here with me today. If you've been on a spiritual journey for a while, you've likely noticed that much of the conversation tends to float in the realm of energy, consciousness, or soul, which who doesn't love? But here's the thing I've noticed. Your body is also a huge part of this relationship and where all of that gets expressed. It's not just a vehicle that you're stuck in and waiting to get back to the divine. It's the very vessel through which your soul's purpose comes alive. And when you learn to honor and tend to your body, your rhythms, your cycles, and your physical well-being can become the strongest foundation of your intuitive clarity, emotional balance, and spiritual growth. So today we're talking about why caring for your physical body is essential for living a soulful, intuitive, and purpose-driven life, which is exactly what I think you want if you found your way here. So we will explore the rhythms and needs of the female body, the ways that stress and modern living disrupt your natural balance, and how you can reclaim your body as a sanctuary for your soul. So let's start with understanding your body's rhythms and needs a little bit better. Your body is truly alive with its own rhythm. And as women, we experience monthly cycles, hormonal shifts, and even subtle daily changes on a very heightened scale, which then affect our mood, energy, and intuitive capacity. So if you're in tune with these rhythms, whether it's your menstrual, your circadian, or your seasonal rhythm, you can better be able to anticipate your needs, work with your natural flow, and avoid burnout. Yet so many of us live completely out of sync with these natural cycles because we've never been taught to notice them. So we push through fatigue with caffeine or sugar, we override hunger with busyness, and suppress symptoms with quick fixes instead of listening or getting to the root. And these things are often validated by society and peers for doing so. And knowing this, truthfully, it's no wonder that so many of us face health setbacks, feel so overwhelmed, stressed, and disconnected, not just from our bodies, but from our sense of self and well-being. So this is where we get to take our power back. And this is where we get to explore some deeper truths that we didn't get to experience or learn growing up. And that's understanding and honoring your rhythms. So you can do this by noticing and understanding your own cycles and body's rhythms. Also, understanding how your energy works, when your energy peaks or dips, and when you get really excited and on versus really tired and down, and how to take care of yourself. And by truly curating a lifestyle, not just a diet or a quick fix that will support mindfulness, health, and vitality, and create space for rest and nourishment, because this is not just a wellness practice, it's a spiritual one. I truly believe when you live in partnership with your body instead of against it, your intuition flows more easily and you can begin to experience yourself as a whole, grounded, deeply connected human, which is what we all want. So let's build on that. If your body is a sacred vessel, then what is pulling us out of alignment specifically? 3 big culprits I want to talk about today, amongst a multitude of things, are stress, nervous system dysregulation, and toxicity. So let's talk about each of these. Starting with stress. Chronic stress hijacks your hormones and can throw your nervous system into constant survival mode. This disrupts your digestion, sleep, immune function, and even intuition. So when you're stuck in stress, your body can't focus on thriving or receiving guidance because it's truly in survival mode. Your natural rhythm of cortisol levels and other hormonal cascades can begin to be disrupted when you're in a stressed state. So, stress is probably one of the biggest culprits of a lot of our system dysfunction these days. Next comes nervous system dysregulation, which really is the secondary cascade of our stress. So, your nervous system is a vital player in your overall health and well being. It's the communication center for your body. It's what tells your body what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and reacts to external and internal stimuli. And so, when you don't feel safe or when you're in that constant fight flight mode, everything can start to feel harder. Your body is in overdrive. It's overcompensating in an attempt to get you back to your norm, and it's constantly on its guard. So, processing emotions, making clear decisions, and even accessing spiritual insight become secondary. So, nervous system dysregulation is a big factor in not feeling well. And then comes toxicity. From processed foods to environmental pollutants and the overstimulation of screens and social media, our world right now is full of things that create inflammation, not just in our body, but in our minds. And these inputs will cloud our energy and make it difficult to feel fully present or attuned to ourselves. They have deep and profound effects on our hormones, on our system function, and all of those things are going to affect your well-being and vitality. So by becoming aware of these influences, you can start to make small intentional changes to take your power back. And I want to offer some approachable ways that you can begin reconnecting with your body. And I always want to say, start simple, use your own intuition to make decisions for your body, and build as you go. You don't need to make all these changes at once. Start small and just start to make some small shifts and build on them as you can. So something you can do for stress is to understand where your stress is coming from to start. So you can do this by getting a piece of paper, writing stress in the center, and then drawing a web out of lines of all the things you feel that contribute to your stress. So maybe it's work, finances, lack of sleep, relationships, home load, or too much caffeine. Whatever comes up, those are just examples to get your mind going and thinking. And once you see this on paper and have all that written out, you can start to then make lines from each of those aspects and say, what is a solution to adjust this or make this feel better? And if that feels overwhelming, start with the easiest things first. So if you feel like you're having too much caffeine, you can write a line and say, I'm going to cut back on my second cup. I just won't have it, or I'll put in place of it a nourishing meal. And then you can work towards the bigger changes over time. So just note that small, consistent shifts can create real relief, and you'll start to feel a difference as you slowly remove some of these triggers of your stress. And that brings us to your nervous system support, which is going to also support your stress levels. You can start by noticing when you feel most unsettled. Is it at a certain time of day, maybe in a specific place you go to, or around certain people? Becoming aware of these patterns is the first step towards creating boundaries and reducing overstimulation. You can then also choose to start your mornings intentionally. So before reaching for your phone, try taking a few deep breaths. Do a little bit of light stretching as you're laying in your bed. Or go step outside and see the sun for a moment. Take a breath and set an affirmation for how you want your day to feel and go. And then you can end your evenings gently by reducing your screen time a bit. Typically, I would recommend not having screen time at least 1 hour before bed, hopefully longer. You can also journal a page and just let everything go from your day. You don't have to be a writer or write anything spectacular, just a brain dump and get it out. Or you can do a few minutes of calming breath work or a gratitude practice where you think of 3 things that you're grateful for. These simple rituals might seem too easy or untangible, and yet don't let your mind get in the way of doing things that are going to help you. Because whatever it is that you choose that you feel will support you, it will signal to your body, I am safe. I am grounded, I am cared for, and you give it those moments and opportunities to take a breath, to actually close the cycle of that fight flight, to find and work through that energy and that stress and come back to homeostasis. And for reducing toxicity, there is so much here that I could cover. This is its own episode and series, truthfully, and yet it's so, so important and close to my heart. And I want to just say, focus on what you can control and what is within your power at this time. I've spent over 10 years slowly building a life that has reduced toxicity. So just take me as an example that it's a slow roll, and yet I have seen firsthand some really big adjustments in my health and vitality and well-being by making these swaps. Especially as a sensitive empath who quickly and easily has skin irritation, allergies, eczema, all those things. I just have to be really mindful. And so I hope some of these can help you start to get creative and have fun with it. This should be fun, not scary. I'm not bringing these forward to scare you, but more to say, hey, there are some better options that can help you feel good. So firstly, swap synthetic fragrances for natural ones or essential oils. This has been one of the biggest adjustments I've seen in my life as someone who has a really hard time being around fragrances. I get migraines and headaches. My throat feels really itchy. And there are so many non-toxic brands out there or fragrance-free ones. And like I said, essential oils can become your best friend. If you really miss candles or those air fresheners, diffuse essential oils. You can put them in so many different things. Get candles with essential oils in them or make your own. I actually love the creativity that you can bring with essential oils and even herbs. And one of my favorite brands is doTERRA. I will link more information in the show notes for you if you're interested in getting started, and you can reach out to me as well. I just really love them and use them in my own home. Next would be noticing where your food is coming from and how it's being processed. So a lot of our food and produce is being sprayed by pesticides, by glyphosate, and all of those things are wreaking havoc on your health. There's tons of research out there that links to certain cancers and other diseases from this. So I would recommend starting to buy organic for what you can, and you can use the Dirty Dozen list to see what produce is the most heavily sprayed, and even start there to adjust and start to replace some of those items that maybe you're buying conventional with organic options to just lessen that toxic load. That's really the goal here. Another is filtering your water. While I am so grateful for our water system and everything that it's doing, there are some things that are not beneficial to our bodies based on the system and the chemicals that we're using in our water filtration and purification process. So I always suggest investing in a good filter that supports your body, and then make sure you're adding minerals back in, whether in your water or elsewhere, because filters are going to strip some of those natural minerals out of there. So just be aware of that, but it's not a big lift by any means. You just need to solve for that. And then explore non-toxic cleaners. The cleaners that we're using in our household, just like our fragrances, are in the top items listed as being directly linked to more cancers, more diseases, those types of things because of the chemicals. And also we're contained in these homes. There's not a lot of airflow and movement. So choosing alternatives that don't have so many of those harsh chemicals that are going to affect you. And if you're worried about them not cleaning as well, there are so many solutions out there that you can find that are just as good as the mainstream brands. And the last thing I will offer brings me to your air quality, like I just alluded to, that I would highly recommend getting an air filter in your home, if not multiple air filters in your home, that can help start to process some of the molds, the pollens, the dust. There are a lot of studies that show that for many, inside our house has worse air quality than outside. So it's kind of wild, but remember, we aren't typically opening windows. It's a very contained area. So getting an air filter in there is going to just help lessen that load on your body. So I know those were a lot of options for you. So just choose one small thing from this list and make a change and see what happens. Because the goal here is to lighten the toxic load on your body so you can thrive. So while there are very tangible ways to begin to support your body in a more holistic manner to get you feeling strong and good, I also see there is a lot of merit in your mindset approach. And this matters because when you can start to begin to shift from thinking about your body as something that needs tending only when things feel out of whack, to a more proactive approach of regular maintenance and nourishment to actually promote long-term health and vitality, something begins to shift. And that's going to help you make adjustments and see your body and yourself as being important, as being sacred, because it is. And yet many of us have mindsets where we put ourselves last. We're last in line. We worry about everyone else in front of us. And if we can get to ourselves, then great, but we're not going to worry about it until something's quite broken. Yet this mindset is not going to get you very far, unfortunately. But there are simple ways you can begin to shift it. And I like to even just start with some self-reflection because it starts to get you thinking about your connection to your body, your connection to listening, and seeing what you need in this moment. So you can ask yourself, how does my body truly feel right now? What rhythms or needs have I been ignoring? What's one thing I can do to help support my body? Remember, awareness is the first step towards healing. And something else I have found that helps me shift my mindset from putting others in front of myself to actually having self-care is remembering that self-care is a devotion and putting me first is a priority. And you can actually make this happen in a myriad of ways. This could look like setting boundaries around your time and energy, asking yourself what you want first before looking for others' input. You can trust yourself more when you feel overtaxed or overwhelmed and start to ask for help or take a day where you get the rest you need. Other practical ways of this are learning more about your rhythms of life, noticing what season you relate to most right now, and using muscle testing to intuitively choose what supplements or foods that you take into your body, and simply slowing down enough to ask your body what it needs before saying yes to another task. These small acts of honoring your body are deeply spiritual. They're ways of saying, I value the home my soul lives in. And finally, once you've selected an area to focus in your life right now and how you really want to best tend to your body, you can begin to integrate these practices into your daily life. You can even make them a part of your family rhythm, where you model for your kids what it looks like to honor your body and create small rituals of nourishment and rest throughout your week that are tailored to you. Because when you treat your body as sacred, everything shifts. Your intuition can strengthen, your energy can stabilize, and you can open up to a more grounded, vibrant way of living. It won't solve all your problems, but it's definitely going to help you feel better. And the last thing I want to say is to be open to exploring your body and these topics. And remember to bring joy into your routines, the tending of yourself, and however you choose to support your body. Because what you are doing is not just a diet, a quick fix, or a momentary shift you may undertake. What I talked about today is going to help you craft a true lifestyle where you are taken care of, heard, nourished, and supported, which will help you be a strong, resilient vessel to act your soul's passion, desires, and purpose in this life. So to wrap up this episode, please remember your body is more than a vessel. It's your partner. When you tend to your rhythms, nurture your physical health, and honor your body's needs, you create a foundation for your soul to truly thrive. So here's a last reflective question I will leave you with. What's one way I can honor my body's rhythms this week? If this episode spoke to you, and if you haven't already, I'd love for you to follow the show and leave a review. It helps others find this work and join our community of women reclaiming their bodies, their souls, their intuition, and their lives. Thank you so much for being here, for listening, and showing up for yourself. Thank you for joining me on Intuition Unlocked. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of insight, guidance, or intuitive inspiration. To dive deeper into our community and get access to exclusive content, head to my website at www.olivia-ashley.com and subscribe to my newsletter. You can also connect with me on Instagram at wildlyolivia for daily inspiration and updates. Remember, your intuition is your superpower. Trust it, nurture it, and let it guide you. Until next time, I'm Olivia Ashley, and I can't wait to connect with you again.